r/NoSleep. Posted by you/horrornoob. When you see something at the corner of your room. There was one particular night 12 years ago when I was a kid, 8 years old, that left me filled with terror. Waking up at around 3 a.m. to pee was very a usual routine for me. Feeling the need to pee, I got up, went to the bathroom in my room and quickly went to bed. I played on my side and was about to drift to sleep when I saw it. A figure at the corner of my room beside my door. It was dark with only my dimly lit night light giving me some form of illumination. I was trying to comprehend what it was, or should I say denying what I already know. It was the silhouette of a person sitting on the floor. I cannot see well, but the way it's positioned I could tell it was looking straight at me. I pretended to close my eyes and not panic. I was tensed up. My heart was racing so fast, I wanted to bolt out of the window on the other side but couldn't out of fear. I was staring at the figure, but my vision is more blurry now since my eyes were partially closed. After a few minutes of looking at that thing, I was starting to realize that maybe it was just an object. For my peace of mind, I planned on going to it just to check what it was. I slightly got up to get out of my bed when I saw it crouch like a friggin' animal and move towards me. I immediately lied down again. I had a clever idea to move around from side to side to make it look like I'm just tossing and turning around the bed, but I still returned to the side facing that thing. My heart dropped as I saw it halfway towards my bed, but as I stopped moving it quickly returned to its original position. After that, I was sure that was a monster. It happened so fast I didn't get a glimpse of what it looked like. It's built like a person but is strangely deformed. I was thinking all I had to do was survive until the morning. I can't see clearly, but I can feel that it was staring at me. I didn't know what this monster was up to. Why is it waiting for me to get up for me to get attacked? I was completely lying there defenseless. It had no reason to just wait. It felt like it has been an hour. I feel like drifting to sleep but can't because of that thing. It's still there. I didn't move an inch. I haven't moved from my position too. I feel like any other move I make will be my last. It slowly stood up and went inside my closet. As a kid, I've always had a fear that my closet was hiding some monsters. Maybe it was some sort of closet monster. Maybe it can only attack kids who were awake. It was probably supposed to attack me when I got up to pee but missed its chance. I was still anxious, but deep down I felt the danger was gone. I was anxious but my drowsiness is overpowering me. I slowly drifted to sleep. Suddenly I jolted up due to the sound of a loud bang of the closet opening. It furiously ran towards me. It lunged but I got out of the bed before it was able to attack. I got out of the bed but it got a hold of my ankles causing me to trip. I was kicking it away while it was making more attempts to grab me, shouting words like "Let me go, please, get away from me." And with my loudest voice I shouted, "Mom! Dad! Help me!" I was crying my eyes out. I was in my highest state of panic. I looked back and I got a glimpse of it. The monster was an old woman wearing a nightgown. It had pitch black eyes, pale skin, a messy long hair. It had some sort of black goo dripping from its mouth covering the bottom of its chin and some stains on her gown. It shrieks and grunts very loud while pulling me in. It was starting to overpower me. I was back in bed lying down while this monster was standing on top of me. She was grinning while holding me down. It then started choking me. She looked frail but she was unnaturally strong. Her grin gets larger the longer she chokes me. I was about to black out. I heard the door open and the light switch on. I jerked up and saw my parents enter the room. They hurriedly went towards me. I was sobbing uncontrollably. I told them everything that happened. My dad looked around the room while my mom was hugging and consoling me. My dad was guessing it was a home intruder that managed to enter the house somehow. They believed my story. I had many bruises and some scratch marks, mostly from the legs. They did not believe how I described the monster. They believed that a burglar was responsible and I probably imagined things out of panic. I had realized that the sun was rising already. They checked out the house for possible entry points. They never told me whether they found out anything. They reassured me that I was safe now. I insisted I sleep in their room with someone watching over me. I went to my parents' room and slept. Many things happened afterwards, like many strangers visiting the house, some of them are policemen. It didn't matter much to me that time. What's important is I don't get to encounter that monster again. For the next 2 years, I slept in my parents' room. They had a spare mattress I slept at. They pleaded that I go back to my old room, but I strongly refused. I finally dared to return to my old room and sleep there after my dad strongly assured me that it will never happen again. I secretly hid a wrapped knife under my pillow just in case. I never encountered it again. I'm writing about this because I saw something peculiar today. I visited my parents' house. I wanted to catch up after being away for so long. I checked my old room. Not much has changed. While looking around the room, it crossed my mind to check the corner where the monster was sitting at that time. I spotted something stuck on the gap between the wall and the floor. It was the edge of a paper. I managed to get it by picking on it. The paper was brown and old, as if it had been there for many years. My heart sank as I read what was written. I had fun toying with you. I was just playing around, but the next time we meet I'm going to end you. I hope you have enjoyed your life so far. I'm prepared now, but I'm not sure how I could deal with it if the intention was to kill me. When you see something unfamiliar in the corner of your room, keep your guard up. The next story of this video. Posted by you/horrornoob. Post-surgery sleep paralysis. I never thought that a trip to the hospital would traumatize me. The incident happened around the start of this pandemic. I got taken to the ER for appendicitis. For those who don't know, it's where your appendix, an organ in your gut, gets infected and inflamed to the point where it's about to burst. To treat the disease, the appendix needs to be removed immediately via surgery. The operation was successful. The lower part of my gut still hurts, but it's not nearly as bad as the time I arrived. Before the surgery, it hurt like hell. They said I can go home after 1 or 2 days. I'm all alone here. Due to restrictions brought about by the pandemic, nobody can accompany me. I'm completely dependent on the medical staff who drop by. Then it started. The night after my surgery, things just started feeling different. The air feels heavier. I feel shivers in every inch of my skin. Every random sound I hear in the room just makes me feel paranoid. Deep down I know something wrong will happen. I just want to escape that room, but I can't. It would be embarrassing to call a nurse for something like that. I went against my instinct and tried to ignore that feeling to the best of my abilities. I eventually drifted to sleep 2 hours past my regular bedtime when drowsiness took a hold of me. My bed was a little elevated so I could still see what was happening around the room. I suddenly woke up. I can't move. I see in my peripherals towards my right something peeking out from the window. I can only see its head and its jet black eyes and long grayish hair. Its eyeballs are so large it was unhuman. Even though the windows are locked, for some reason it managed to open them. I saw a pale, thin, emaciated humanoid figure with long hair. It crawled unnaturally. It crawled on all fours but moved its limbs like how a spider moved. I was using all my strength to get up and get out of bed. I don't care whether I still have stitches. I needed to get out of there quick. It slowly crawled towards me. And once it was beside me, it stood up. I never realized how tall it was till it now. It was tall enough that its head almost reached the ceiling. As it looked down on me, I realized it had no eyes. It's only empty sockets where the eyes are supposed to be. It just continued to stare at me with a stern expression on its face for a considerably long amount of time. It was agony. I couldn't move and I find it exhausting to breathe. Like something heavy sitting on my chest. I'm trying to let out a scream. Trying to at least fight back if ever this was my last day alive. I just couldn't. Everything changed once it smiled. Its smile was wide and almost reached both ears. It then tilted its head to the left, making a cracking sound. It then started making erratic movements. Like someone having a seizure whilst standing up, all while making those awful cracking noises. After a few moments, it suddenly grabbed hold of both side railings of my hospital bed. Its face is inches from my face. After a few moments, it went back. Its head is now above my torso. He showed me raising his left index finger. He then slowly put his finger on where my surgery wound was. His finger slowly stabbing through it. I felt my stitches and wound tearing open. The pain and agony were overwhelming. Every inch of me wanted to exert all efforts to scream and reach for the nurse call button. I wanted to fight off the beast, but all I can do is endure the excruciating pain. I couldn't move no matter how much I tried. Once the full length of its index finger was inside, it started mixing. He twirled his finger around while inside my gut. The pain was overwhelming. I wanted to faint. If this was a nightmare, I wanted to wake up. I was entirely aware of everything. The gurgling sound its finger made while twirling was sickening. As he was mixing, he started cackling. The sound was horrible. It was a mix of laughing and shouting. It got so loud the sound started to hurt my ears. Right when my eardrums were about to burst from his laughing, I jerked up and woke up. My surgery wound was heavily bleeding. I felt very weak after, but mustered enough strength to reach for the nurse call button. I had a procedure that fixed the wound. I may have to stay in the hospital for a longer time. The doctor said that I had a case of wound dehiscence, or that my surgical wounds reopened. They suspected it was because of a hypnic jerk. They said when I awoke suddenly that night and got up, the force I exerted might have reopened the wound. They gave me additional treatments for that. I did mention the sleep paralysis, but who would believe that a monster caused this? They have dismissed it as a sort of nightmare. Thankfully, I did not encounter that beast anymore, even if I had to stay for a week to recuperate. I did not go to the sleep doctor. I do believe that place is cursed and that monster was real. I went for other solutions to prevent this from happening again. I would have believed that this was all just an extreme case of sleep paralysis if it weren't for the fact that the window was wide open when I woke up that day. I feel sorry for the poor souls in that hospital who had to experience this.